Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to send a consent form to your customer and what happens if they have filled it out. The settings for your consent form settings, like how to tweak, how you want to use them, that's for a separate video. We start with the basics first. All right. I have my appointment here, which we created in the previous demo. I'm going to open it. And first of all, to send a consent form, there are 3 ways. So at the bottom of your appointment modal, here you see consent form. It says not filled out. Of course, it's not. We just opened it and we have not sent it yet. So a consent form is never emailed or sent in any way automatically. You always have to send it to your customer manually at the moment they enter your tattoo shop. So we are not going to send consent forms before they arrive, because in the consent form, they have to declare that they are not under the influence of alcohol or drugs or things like that. And they cannot declare that if it's not in the moment itself. So we wait for your customer to arrive. And if they are there, you open your appointment and you scroll down. So here you see consent form not filled out. Choose how you want to send or display the consent form. First option is an email. This will email your customer with a link to their consent form. This is SMS, so you can SMS, text message your customer with the link to their consent form, or you can show a QR code on your screen. I'm going to click on the QR code for now. So this is what will show up on your screen. So in this case, you have to show your screen to your customer, and that customer can scan the QR code. If you choose SMS like this, make sure that your customer has a valid phone number. Now it has not. If I would set my own phone number here, then I can send myself an SMS with a link in, and if I tap that link, I can fill out my consent form. So for now, I'm going to use the QR code. I have my phone here. I take a picture. Well, I scan the QR code, I mean. Voila. So now I'm the customer in my own shop. So I arrive, I'm the customer, the shop shows me the QR code or sends me a text, and I can start filling out my consent form. So your client will do this on their own device. They fill it out, it takes a minute. For example, you can ask them the Instagram name and how did they get to know you, just to make it a bit more interesting for yourself. Voila. Then your client has to sign digitally with their hand on their screen. They have to make a signature. Okay. So I will make my signature. I am at least 18 years old, and now I will give consent. And on my screen in the background, which is now blurred, you will see that the red not filled out label will change to a green one that says filled out. So I give consent. Voila. Now you see it has been filled out. So you, the shop manager, you see on your screen exactly when the customer signed and saved their consent form. If you want to see the content of that consent form, you click here. And here you find everything that your customer filled out. I made the consent form pretty short now, just for demonstrational purposes, so it would save us some time, but you can ask way more detailed questions if you wish. Voila. Why do you want to check your consent form? Well, you want to make sure your customer doesn't have any diseases, but in your settings, you can also make sure they declare they have none and they don't get through the consent form if they have anything. So the fact that they have filled it out should already make you safe for that. But what I find interesting is this one. Does your tattoo contain text? Please write here the correct text with correct spelling. So if your customer has some name or date or whatever text in their tattoo, they have to write it here, and then it's this spelling that matters. If you ever make, I hope you don't, but if it ever happens that you make a spelling mistake in your tattoo, this consent form is the basis for your discussion about it. So make sure you check this field when your customer filled out the consent form. Voila. So now it's been filled out. Great. I save my appointment, or I don't save it. It doesn't matter. Another way to see your consent form. So you have it per appointment, but you can also see a list of consent forms. The list is per date. So for today, there are no appointments. Let's see which was the date that we had an appointment. This one. So on 20th of April, there was one customer listed. Let's give you an example if more customers are listed. So on 20th, I take the same customer, it doesn't matter, I think. Voila. So I have 2 appointments here. If we now go to consent form and I check for 20th, Yeah, I see all the appointments for that date, and I can see for one, the consent form has filled out, and for the second, it has not. You could also send again the consent form from this list. So if you ever have inspection in your studio and that inspection asks you for a consent form, you can easily go to this list and show everything you have. You can also click them, of course, to see the content. Voila.